A lone mare stood trembling at the edge of a frozen lake, her breath visible in the icy air. Her foal had vanished beneath the ice, gone in an instant, swallowed by the merciless cold. The wind howled like a beast, and snow whipped through the barren wilderness. She paced, panicked, pawing at the thick ice that separated her from her baby. Time was slipping away, and everyone thought it was too late. But then, out of the storm, came a man on horseback, a rancher with a past he never spoke of. He didn't hesitate. With ropes, tools, and sheer determination, he leapt into action. What happened next would change everything, for both mare and foal, for the rancher, and for the wild land they called home. If you believe in courage, second chances, and the power of love to conquer even nature's fury, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and share this story with someone who needs hope today. Now let's begin. The world was a frozen wasteland. Snow stretched endlessly across the plains, broken only by jagged rocks and twisted trees bent under the weight of winter. The wind screamed through the valley like a living thing, angry, relentless, unyielding. It wasn't just cold, it was cruel. And in the middle of it all stood Luna, a proud Mustang mare, her dark mane whipping around her face as she stared at the lake before her. The ice shimmered under the gray sky, deceptively solid, dangerously thin in places. But none of that mattered now. Her foal, her tiny son, named Ember, had fallen through. Luna had watched it happen in slow motion. One moment, he was wobbling beside her, his little legs struggling to find balance in the snow. The next, he slipped, slid, and disappeared beneath the surface. A sharp crack echoed through the air. Then silence. She rushed forward, heart pounding, hooves skidding on the ice. She pawed at it, snorted, cried out, but nothing worked. The ice wouldn't break. Ember was trapped, drowning. Tears welled in her eyes, but there was no time to grieve. Not yet. She refused to give up. Her body trembled, not just from the cold, but from fear, from helplessness. She had always been strong, always survived. But this was different. Then, through the swirling snow, a shape appeared. A rider. At first, she thought it was a trick of the storm. But as he drew closer, she saw the outline of a man on a dark horse, moving fast, cutting through the blizzard like he'd done it 100 times before. His coat flapped wildly in the wind, and his hat shielded his face, but his movements were sure urgent. He dismounted without hesitation. Luna met his eyes, and something passed between them. Understanding. Fear. Hope. Without a word, he pulled a rope from his saddle, tied one end to a nearby branch, and ran toward the hole where Ember had vanished. The wind roared louder, as if trying to stop him. But he didn't flinch. With an axe, he struck the ice again and again. Each blow sent shards flying. Cracks spread outward like spiderwebs. Sweat mixed with snow on his brow. He didn't stop until the opening was wide enough. Then he reached in. Time froze. The water was black, freezing, and silent. No movement, no sound, just stillness. Luna stepped forward, ears twitching, heart hammering. Was he too late? Then a flicker. A small, trembling body broke the surface. Ember. The man grabbed him, pulling him up, lifting him onto the ice. Luna rushed forward, nudging her son, calling to him, but he didn't respond. His body was limp, cold, lifeless. The man wrapped him in a blanket, rubbed his chest, whispered words of encouragement. "Come on," he murmured. "Breathe." Seconds ticked by. The storm raged around them, but inside Luna, the world had gone quiet. Then, a soft whimper, a shudder, a breath. Ember coughed, blinked, and let out a weak cry. Relief crashed over Luna like a wave. She nuzzled him gently, licking his wet fur, covering him in warmth. He was alive. Barely, but alive. The man exhaled, his shoulders dropping slightly. He looked exhausted, but his eyes held something deeper, something kind. "We're not safe yet," he said softly. Luna followed closely as he led them toward shelter, tying Ember carefully to the rope so he could be carried. Every step was a battle. The snow was deep, the wind fierce. Ember struggled to stay warm. His legs gave out more than once. But the man didn't stop. Hours passed. Or maybe minutes. Time lost meaning in the storm. Finally, through the white blur, a cabin appeared. Smoke curled from the chimney. Light glowed faintly behind frosted windows. A haven. They stumbled inside. The fire was already burning. The man laid Ember near the hearth, wrapping him in more blankets, feeding him warm broth. Luna stayed close, never leaving his side. She kept her nose against his back, breathing warmth into his small frame. Outside, the storm continued to rage. Inside, the fire crackled softly. For the first time in what felt like forever, Luna allowed herself to relax. But peace didn't last long. A low growl echoed from outside. The man stiffened. "We're not alone." Luna's ears shot up. She pawed at the ground nervously. Ember stirred, whimpering softly. The man moved to the door, peering out. His face paled. "It's a bear," he whispered. Panic surged through Luna's veins. "A bear. Here. Now." The man turned to her. "We have to go." "Go? Where?" Ember couldn't walk. Couldn't run. The storm was still raging. There was nowhere to go. But the bear was coming closer. Another growl. Louder this time. Fiercer. The man grabbed a rope, tied it around his waist, secured the other end to a post. "Stay close," he ordered. "Follow me." Luna nodded, instinctively understanding. She nudged Ember gently, helping him stand. He wobbled, but managed to rise. The man opened the door, just enough to check the distance. The bear was massive, its dark form looming through the snow, glowing eyes locked on the cabin. Then it charged. The man threw hay toward the door, hoping to distract the beast, but the bear ignored it. It was focused, hungry, determined. Luna shoved Ember behind a stack of crates, shielding him with her body. She turned, heart pounding, muscles tense. She had no weapons, no way to fight, but she would not let this monster take her son. The man stepped forward, grabbing a broken plank from the floor. "I'll hold it off," he said. "You get him out." Luna hesitated. Could she leave him? "Go," he shouted. With a final glance, she turned and ran. Pushing Ember ahead of her, she urged him forward, guiding him through the snow. The bear roared behind them, the man shouting, fighting. Snow blinded her eyes. Wind bit her skin. Ember stumbled, nearly falling several times, but Luna stayed beside him, steadying him, pushing him onward. Behind them, chaos. Ahead of them, survival. After what felt like an eternity, they reached a ridge overlooking a frozen river. The storm began to ease. The wind died down. The snow thinned. And then, the man appeared beside them. Bloodied, bruised, but alive. He looked at Luna, then at Ember. Relief filled his eyes. They had made it. Together. As dawn broke, painting the sky in soft hues of gold and pink, the three stood together at the edge of the river. The storm had passed. The danger was gone. But something had changed. Between them, a bond had formed, not of words, but of trust, of sacrifice, of shared survival. Luna nuzzled Ember, pride swelling in her chest. Against all odds, they had made it. The rancher smiled softly, then mounted his horse. "You two are going to be just fine," he said. And with that, he rode off into the sunrise. Moral lesson: love, courage, and compassion can overcome even the fiercest storms. Sometimes, the most unlikely heroes come when we need them most. If this story touched your heart, please remember to subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought, and share this tale with someone who believes in second chances.